By the way, you were right.
Yeah.
You were right. Look, you didn't need it. Look how quickly you recovered.
Look what the mainstream media did when Joe Rogan announced he had COVID and how he was going to take care of himself.
And it turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything.
Did you catch what CNN did right there? Did you see the color of Joe Rogan's face on the CNN version of that? He looked completely fine and normal and had a reddish hue when he went on his experimental medications. When CNN put him on, he was green. So this is just another way that they do all these things. And by the way, then what happened at the exact same time as all of this was unfolding? Suddenly, for 2 weeks, the entire mainstream media was calling Joe Rogan racist because they unearthed videos of him saying the N-word, even though, as you know, he was not saying it in a racist way. He was saying it to mock the people who actually are racist. But who's been the number one guy going after Aaron Rodgers as Aaron Rodgers has woke up? Well, it is, I would say, government mouthpiece, quote unquote, comedian Jimmy Kimmel. And you may remember this one from his show at the height of COVID. This is one, like if you look at all of the late night crap that we can show you and throw back to during COVID, this might be the single worst moment.
Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Think of the level of evil of that. I know you've seen that clip before. I mean, that is deeply, deeply evil. It's against the Hippocratic Oath, and we now know that the vaccines didn't even work, and the heart attack that the vaccinated person might be having might have been because of the vaccine in the first place. So who's a worse person? Who got more of the stuff wrong and wanted to take out their anger throughout all of this on other people? Is it Aaron Rodgers and Joe Rogan, or is it a guy like Jimmy Kimmel? Anyway, Aaron Rodgers continued yesterday to talk about what's the motivation of the people who did things like Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, it's just on and on and on through this whole thing. My thing is this, you know, all of us who've been attacked for our position, to all those people, what do you think the motivation is?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, just look at my own situation. Like, I lost friends, allies in the media, millions of dollars in sponsorship because I talked about what worked for me and my own beliefs and my own health reasons why I didn't get vaccinated.
Oh, by the way, you were right.
Yeah.
You were right. Look, you didn't need it. Look how quickly you recovered. You were fine.
And same with you.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They changed the color of your face. they vilified all early treatments, including a medicine that has one of the safest profiles out there. That we've talked about it. The guy who invented it got a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
They were using it all over the world, in Uttar Pradesh, in Africa, and various places. And that's what you do during the pandemic, right? You find ways to repurpose drugs for early treatments. But now they couldn't do that because if there's an early treatment, then they can't get the UA.
Drugs
have
proven to have antiviral properties.
Yeah. But what's the motivation for Peter McCullough, who got vilified? What's the motivation for Robert Malone?
Well, if you know Peter McCullough is like, that guy has standards and morals and ethics. I mean, he is a rock solid guy.
And he actually treated patients, too.
Actually treated patients. He's also the most published doctor in history in his particular field of study.
The point of all of this, guys, is that when you stand up, there is going to be a cost, obviously. It quite literally cost Aaron Rodgers millions of dollars. At the height of COVID, I could not go into studios and do interviews with people, right? I have no doubt it cost sponsorship and all of those things. Did I largely become right about COVID and vaccines and everything else? Yes. And then over time, in the last 2+ years, our show has grown and grown and grown and grown because then people were like, oh, Dave seems like he's roughly a trustworthy guy and kind of at least directionally get things right. So I'll tune into that.